got a fussy, picky, sensitive eater in your household, then our next guest may just help you turn your dinner time dread into dinner time delight. Joining us now is Judith Yeebsley, the author of the wonderfully titled Winner, Winner, I Eat Dinner, who's worked with hundreds of families struggling with picky eaters. And so simple strategies outlined in this book are game-changing. Good morning, Judith. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Thanks, Holly. Nice to be on the show.
Lovely to see you again, and congratulations on the new book. So, can you prevent a child from being fussy by giving them lots of variety in the first few years of their life, or is it just that some kids are just hardwired to be fussy?
I think the answer is sort of yes to both of those. There are children who are hardwired just to be more selective. It's just in their DNA. And you see it as babies, that as babies, they're just not that comfortable around food, and they're never comfortable around food. And I work with lots of families with 3 children, and 2 of them eat perfectly competently, and 1 of them really struggles. So it's not necessarily that the parents have created this drama, but should we be doing variety from early on? Absolutely. And even if we have a child that's not eating them, is providing variety still valuable? Absolutely, and long term is still really valuable.
Okay, so my mum putting those Brussels sprouts on my plate to just give it another go is a good idea.
Yeah, absolutely. Although there are ways that we can do it that are positive, and there are ways that we can do it that are not necessarily quite so successful.
Yeah, well, it wasn't successful. I still hate them. But so what goes through a child's mind as they approach the dinner table if they are a fussy eater?
A different way to look at this, and probably a valuable way to look at this, is if we're a competent eater, if we go to a friend's house and they serve us a chicken dish and it's got a tomato-based sauce and we haven't eaten it before, we look at it and we say, well, I like chicken, I like tomatoes, have a little bit of a bite, and we go through this nice logical thought process, and it's all prefrontal cortex, and we're analysing it. If we've got a child that's uncomfortable around food, they say new food, no.
Right.
There's no logical thought. It's the base of brain. I need to stay safe. And the way I stay safe is by avoiding whatever's on my plate. And if that is not one of my favourite foods, it's better to say no. And so they have an automatic no, which is really logical. And if you're the parent of a fussy child, it's really good to know that. Because when we go, and blah, it's going to make you strong, and blah, it's going to do this, they're going, you? No.
Tell us about the work you do with families. You've worked with 3 Wellington families for this book. What strategies work? We need your help.
I have 2 overarching strategies concepts that are really important. So the first one is, if our child is not comfortable around a food, the chances are they're not going to be eating it. And so very logical, so building comfort is what we need to do. And that's what Winner, Winner, I Eat Dinner is all about. It's 7 simple steps. And the first step is on the table. And the 7th step is eating it. Now, if our child is not comfortable having a food on the table, Brussels sprouts, they're not going to be eating it. And so it's building that comfort. And the second sort of overarching concept is change is the precursor to new. If we can't accept change, how the heck are we going to be able to accept new? So if we have to have the toast and the toast has to be this way and we always have to have the same topping on it, how are we then going to go from toast to muesli? That's not going to happen.
All right. So for anyone watching at home going, oh, yes, I need to get this book. But before then, they need some help. What's one thing a caregiver of a fussy or picky eater can do now?
Okay, so think of those 2 overarching principles I spoke about. If our child is not comfortable having something on the table or on their plate, they're not going to be eating it. So what can we do to build that comfort for them? And generally, that's best done away from the table. Dinner's not the time to teach a child to eat. So how can we build that comfort? So, for example, it's the banana. Can we shop for the banana in the supermarket? Can we if we can't do that, can we put the banana in the fruit bowl and carry the fruit bowl to the table? Is that still too difficult? Can we have the fruit bowl in a place where our child starts to walk past it? If our child is more comfortable around food, then can they wash the carrot? Can they chop the carrot? Can they put a little piece of chicken on a skewer and a little carrot on a skewer? Even if they're not eating it, can they interact with it? Because that's the way that we get them more comfortable around food.
Fantastic advice, Judith. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you. It's been lovely to be here. Thanks, Holly.
Now, Judith's book, Winner Winner, I Eat Dinner, is out now and would make a great Christmas present for anyone who has trouble getting a child to eat. Carly, I'll get you one, I promise. Okay, just ahead.